Bedfordshire sponsoring today's event. Thank you all for coming in today. I know it wasn't an easy journey for some of you, and it's quite exciting for us to have our first in-person event post-COVID, which is always a fun thing to say. So we really do appreciate the time and effort that you've made to come here. A couple of housekeeping things. If you could all please put your devices on silent, then it would be much appreciated. Fire exits, I do have to point out, although I'm winging this one, so the hotels can actually tell us. So, hoping for the best. We've got fire exits there, and just over there in the work centre. Hopefully, it's to come to that. And then finally, I will make a start on the presentation. If everyone's okay and ready to go.
So, yeah, good morning. Very, very glad to be kicking things off this morning. Great privilege. My name is Paul Clark. I'm from a company called FiguringOutData.com, a data analytics company based here in the Philippines. But this morning, the hat I'm wearing is that of BizTech, the BizTech Technology Forum. It's a not-for-profit organisation that brings organisations together to share, learn, collaborate about digital technology. The subject this morning is digital technology and skills to future-proof business. Now, the lens I would like to look at this is something called Skills Hub MK. Skills Hub MK, for those of you not familiar with it, Skills Hub MK is a Department for Education funded pilot that's been run through Milton Keynes College since about October last year. And its purpose is to upskill as many businesses as possible in digital and data skills, and basically demonstrate how it should be done. The BizTech was invited to be the digital lead on this project. There are three parts of the project: digital and data related skills, leadership management skills. The third part is the use of AI in business. BizTech was invited to lead the digital and data skills part of this. I'm the project manager. We've got Freddie Mangero there, the chairman of BizTech as well, so involved in this. The job started back in November. When we reached out to basically our job was to upskill as many local businesses as possible in digital data skills. So the job started back in November when we reached out to as many local businesses as possible to ask, what is it that you need to know? What are other skills that you develop? Now we turned those findings into a design for curricula, or workshops, seminars, whatever event was appropriate for the subject that we were due to deliver, design the curricula, and to be delivered by the most appropriate organisation. And that ranged all the way from Cranfield University through to specialist organisations such as myself. So I was delivering data analytics courses for business leaders. Now, I'm pleased to say we haven't done too badly. Quite nerve that movie, it's fine, let's go there. Okay, we consulted up until the end of April. We've consulted with over 140 businesses about their digital learning requirements. We've delivered over 40 digital and data skills workshops, each about 6 hours in length, to over 250 learners from approximately 120 businesses, and supplemented by BizTech's own seminars on navigating the digital economy. So basically, the purpose is to show how it's done. Now, from the many lessons that we learned from this exercise, what we did discover was that use of digital technology and skills to future-proof your business is all about education. And if you've got a business leader who understands the digital technology that they've got, of course they're more likely to use it. If they're more likely to use it, they'll have the confidence to then go and scan the horizon to see who's doing what. They'll have the confidence to experiment, to see what works and what doesn't. They'll be able to recruit the right people, the right skills, and so on and so forth. But what we discovered was that that does not grow organically, or if it does, it's very slow. Evolution is very slow in the area. When we were talking to businesses about what they need to know, the refrain that we heard quite often was, "You're asking us what we need to know, but we don't know what we don't know." Add to that, we don't know what questions to ask. We don't know who to ask, and we're not sure we would understand the answer if we got one. So these things have to be bootstrapped. They have to be primed if they're going to work. And what I'm really pleased to say is that we've shown how to do it. This pilot is regarded as a success, so I'm hoping that what the Department for Education will do is take elements of it and represent these further out as exemplars of how to do it. Now, what we're doing at the moment is we are researching getting feedback from people who've been through the programme to ask what effect, what impact it's had. And what we're hearing back is that the Skills Hub programme on the digital side has shown people what's out there, what's possible, what skills they need, and it's even helped to deliver some of those skills as well. So, which is fantastic. We're showing how it's done. So with that experience in mind, what the little logo at the bottom there, which is not very big, called the BizTech Digital Network, what BizTech wants to do is to take this forward. Skills Hub is due to finish at the end of July. We want to take this forward, and we've developed this thing called the BizTech Digital Network. It's a home for organisations who want to keep abreast of what's out there, what's possible, what we need to know, and where they're going. So if there's anyone in this auditorium today whose organisation you think might benefit from being part of it, please come and find me. I will be delighted to introduce you to the community. That's it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Gail? Sorry, just having a little bit of trouble with the sound. Hopefully this should help.
Okay,
Click up.
thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much. My name is Gail Parker and I'm a data protection specialist at DataSense. But I'm also wearing another hat today, that of SEMLEP's Growth Hub. So I was up until 2 weeks ago working at SEMLEP as well. But SEMLEP is there to provide business support for businesses. So free business support around marketing plans. And we've got Kelly in the audience. Kelly wants to give us a wave. One of the business advisors at the Growth Hub. Quite happy to have a chat with you about your marketing plan today. So how can businesses use digital capabilities to enhance customer relationships? Well, first of all, I wanted to say, why are customer relationships important? Now, in my business, 70% of my sales are as a result of referrals from my existing customers. There's a big chunk of my business, so it's really important that I look after my customers. And how do I do that? Well, there are a number of tools out there, but customer relationship management, I think when we all put our digital requirements in the cloud earlier, CRM was one of the biggest things that came up. However, there's quite a few of them out there. Some of them are paid for, some of them are free, some of them are bespoke. So it's very difficult to know where to start. Now, interestingly, my company at the moment is just going through an evaluation of two of these, HubSpot and Soho. So is everybody familiar with those two, across those two? Probably one of the most popular in the marketplace, as they have a free version. However, the free versions don't do very much in respect to what I want them to do in terms of my business. So running through those at the moment, so I'm looking mainly at the process from getting a lead, so really looking at all of my marketing strategy, what's creating those leads, and then actually converting those leads into a customer. Now, they all do that in some way, shape or form, but they don't do it the way that I do it in my business. So I'm actually writing that process at the moment and then evaluating the systems against the various criteria. Now, so once you've decided which of the CRMs you want to use, what then can you use it for? So better knowledge of your customers. Quite a lot of the CRMs now, you can integrate with it. So you've got your newsletter going out through it. You can actually integrate theirs and your social media and all their interaction with you. You can also diarise calls with them, and you can segment people quite happily, because if you're sending out newsletters, you can see what they're clicking on, starting to build up some of that knowledge about your customer. And it also helps you better anticipate the needs of your customers as well. And my favourite, obviously, being a data protection specialist, is it really helps with data protection as well. So within a CRM now, most of them have GDPR sort of plugged in at the core. So you can assign everybody a lawful basis. You can also delete people if they ask you to be deleted. You can also get rid of people as per your retention policies, which I'm sure you've all got in place here. So really, from a data protection perspective, it really does put everything in one place and help. So I think that in terms of enhancing your digital capabilities, CRMs are definitely. Thank you very much.
Next we have Alex. Good morning, everyone. My name's Alex, and I work for Bedfordshire as a cyber protect and defend officer. I am part of the two-man band, so it's myself and Michael that cover the whole of Bedfordshire, but he is currently coming out from Turkey, although I'd much rather be here. So I am just going to run through quickly what we cover. So every Wednesday we get a actual report between 100 to 150 victims of cybercrime report per week across Bedfordshire, which me and Michael will have a look into, house visit, call, email, etc. SARS are vulnerability reports from the bank. So if the bank ever see anything that they think is suspicious, they'll then send that to us. We then go and kind of investigate it and visit the victims. As a service, the Lego activity is my personal favourite that we do. Interactive kind of game that we go and do to businesses. You get given your own business, you get given £100,000 a year. Can you make your business after 4 years? Depends what you choose to protect your data and your servers. We work in partnerships with a lot of people. We're currently working with Central Affairs Council. PCA, Police Cyber Alarms Free Service. So literally sign up on the website and it monitors all your internet and what goes in and out of your servers. So yeah, it's a free service that we can offer, and anything suspicious that pops up, it will notify you and let you know. Is prevention better than the cure? Ultimately, everyone knows the answer is yes. So just run through an example that we had recently. Veterinary practice in Bedford, I think they were, wanted new windows in their whole building. So they've contacted a Windows company, arranged for them to come and do it. The Windows company have had their emails hacked. Someone sent created a new email address, pretty much the exact duplicate of their original one, but they put a full stop in. So then they've contacted the vets and said, here are my new bank details. Can you make sure you send the money to this instead of the old one? Whatever reason. Vet's gone, yeah, it's fine. That all looks great. Sent them over £35,000, and then that money is gone. So from a policing perspective, usually these accounts end up being abroad. So there's a British police force, there's not a lot to do, which is obviously useless and victims. So we do a lot of work with supporting the bank, seeing if they can trace that money back and things like that. With the vets, I believe they got a percentage back, but once that money is gone, there's not really too much that can be done. And a lot of the time, the suspects will use money view accounts. They pass the money from one victim to another. So as I said, is prevention better than cure? Always yes, although we know that sometimes not. So some ways that we can up our protection. This is the standard stuff I think everybody knows. Strong passwords, antivirus being up to date, backing up your data, and ensuring that you've got all relevant policies and procedures in place. Like that. I unfortunately have to shoot straight off, but I've left some small business guides over on the back table along with my card. So if there's got any questions, that might be helpful. Sorry,
It's a fairly fast-moving event, so thank you for keeping up. Just wanted to keep it quite engaging. So next speaker is Andrew.
Morning, everyone. Andy Sheldon from CCL Solutions Group. I'm a digital forensics practitioner with 30 years of digging into data. Today, I'm now the Director of Innovation. But I'm going to talk about safeguarding your data. And the first thing you're going to do, oops, there you go. So first thing is, what is your intellectual property? What do you mean by intellectual property? That's basically everything that you produce. So you might be designing something, you might have drawings, intellectual property, you might have code, developing code, intellectual property. But what about things like custom lists? Things like your forms, your brochures? That's all intellectual property. My background in forensics is all about investigating lots of intellectual property. You're an artist, musician, make movies, design code, have a database. That's all intellectual property. And I've seen it walk out the door so many times that today I'm just going to touch very briefly on the kind of thing that you can do to prevent it. So intellectual property, everything is copyright. That should have been an animation. Basically, there are two types of threats, external threats and internal threats. External threats come from things like email, we've heard more about this today, things like phishing, spear phishing to invoice, get a call saying you paid too much on your Amazon account. By sheer coincidence, one of my colleagues was playing with their Amazon account when they had called saying that they paid too much. Would you please get your bank account details to stick it back in? It could be through insecure websites. It could be through public-facing assets within your business. You might have a server that's publicly facing. It could be your supply chain. So you deal with companies that provide you with services, and you trust those companies implicitly. What happens if they get compromised and flow down through the plumbing and come to your environments? So external threats, really big problem. We'll talk about how we fix that in a minute, or address some of that. There's also the internal threats, and that's where quite a lot of my time has been spent trying to investigate how data leaked out. Sometimes it's through past employees who walk out the door with your data. They've got access to your crown jewels. Be careful, because they can just leave it. We had one case where somebody was sacked, literally walked out the door by security, and then rang one of their colleagues sitting at the desk next door and said, "Oh, I've put a tarball into a zip file. Put a tarball or some code that I wrote privately on a server. Could you give me access to it?" And I go, "Yeah, sure." And out went all of the items. So it is really simple to do. It takes moments to happen. Disgruntled employees are people who you might be passing over for promotion. The classic case of the New York Stock Exchange, you know, that ticker that goes around the outside of the building with all the stock prices. The guy that managed that was feeling a bit disgruntled because he was passed over for promotion, and he published a very rude message that was around the outside of the building. Pretty obvious who did that. Pretty easy to spot. Actually, it's all about poor digital hygiene in engaging with your staff, and they are all aware. It's possible what you can do to prevent it. I'm going to talk very briefly about Cyber Essentials because I was asked to. Brilliant NCSC initiative, really good. That link up there, I don't know whether these slides get shared, but that link will take you to an overview of NCSC. It's a government-sponsored initiative. It's really easy to do, and it's the first step. If you want to protect your environment and actually promote your environment, the Cyber Essentials program is a really good thing to do. And there's two aspects to it. It demonstrates your commitment to security, both to your internal staff and to your customers. And it's actually quite important because quite often now, if you're bidding for work, you have to show that you're already a member or you've already been through the Cyber Essentials process. There's two levels: Cyber Essentials, which is a self-assessment. I've done it. Okay, I'm technical, but it's really easy. It's answering some questions. They ask you the right kind of questions. Very good. And Cyber Essentials Plus, which is the same thing, it's kind of an extended version, and you actually get a review by somebody to identify how you can improve your process. It all comes down to policies and procedures. If you've got the right kind of policies and procedures in the business, then you'll be able to identify leaks within the business and protect your assets more efficiently. Okay, that's me. Thanks very much indeed. I said it's 5 minutes to talk about something that takes a year.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I work for a company called Centrality. We're an IT managed services business just up the road. We've been going 25 years. We're glad to know we are Cyber Essentials Plus. We're also ISO 27001, and we're Microsoft experts. But I'm not going to talk about Microsoft. I'm going to talk to you about why security matters. 1 in 3 businesses will face a cyber attack in SME. And interestingly, most of the business we talk to don't even know they've been hacked. So we've helped customers and their supply chains. We know supply chains that have been back to pen and paper for 5 months. The backups have been compromised, malware, and their business has gone back to the dark ages. And the threat is really real. So, you know, there's 15 billion spam emails sent across the internet every day. 42% of people, workers, will click on a malicious link, right? It is frightening. 1 in 99 emails is a phishing attack. So it's a real problem. And 90% of data breaches are phishing. So most of you probably know what phishing is. People know what phishing is. So there are basically 5 things that you need to do. You need to protect yourself against phishing, relatively straightforward. You need to protect against malware, someone downloading something, clicking a link, putting that file on their server or on your device. You need to secure your devices. So dare I say, probably people have had their employees lose a laptop, gone on a train, someone's got on the laptop. On that laptop is all your customer data, all your financial data. We find one of the other problems, just picking up on a previous comment, is actually you've got your head of finance. You sat him, actually his first thing is go into his email account and send all of his data to his private. Having reliable backups, people putting backups on USB sticks, putting it on their local server, and then realising that's been compromised, and strong passwords. Password 123 exclamation point. I don't know if everyone's seen that joke from Michael McIntyre when everyone said, "Oh, you need a more secure password." What did everyone do? Keep the same password, but put an exclamation mark at the end, which is quite funny. So just the most important thing, cyber security is driven by people. It's not, no technologies, anyone that tells you I can sell you a piece of tech that's going to make you secure is lying, because it all starts with your people. And dare I say it, the National Cyber Security Centre, they provide some fantastic tools for you to go and train your employees and make them more aware. And it's all tailored, whether you're a family, what you should be doing at home, if you're self-employed, whether you're a sole trader, or whether you're small or medium business. Interesting, I actually went through the little online training, and it takes you through each of those 5 things, what you should do to protect yourself. And it's all free. So just go to the website, and what I'd say is encourage your employees to do it. We're at ISO 27001. Every employee in our business routinely goes through cyber awareness training. What are the latest threats? How do we protect ourselves? I've been spear-phished attacked. My head of HR, what did she do? She went, got a spear-phishing attack, rang me just as she was about to buy from a WhatsApp message that said, "I'm in Tesco's, I'm just buying you those gift cards for Xbox." And I said, "Why are you buying those?" She said, "I got a WhatsApp message from you." Someone had impersonated me on WhatsApp, put a little picture, sent them a message, and then said, "Can you send me the digital vouchers to this number?" Right? It's real. The good thing is, she picked up the phone and said, "Oh, I'm just checking. Did you send me a message?" What do we see? We see lots of companies buying lots of tech and then not turning it on properly. And that's where we help companies. And typically, most people are probably running Microsoft products, whether it's a small business SKU. Most of those tools, out the box, if properly configured, will do a number of things. Make sure you've got strong passwords. Make sure that you don't have all your data on your laptop. It's all in the cloud by default. Will ensure that No data can be leaked from your organisation. All of these things are there. You're probably paying for them, but they're not turned on. So that's where we help. But my big advice to you is get your people, go to the NCSC website, train them on cybersecurity. That's your biggest means of protection. Anyway, thank you.
Actually, it's Kiara next. Sorry, Rebecca. I know you're eager. Kiara, so if you could do a little brief overview of productivity escalator for me. If you could just stand closer to the laptop for me as well.
We've also had our partners take this opportunity to go over those because they feed in really nicely to how productivity escalator can help all of your businesses and what it is. So the first question, if you remember, was have you adopted a hybrid way of working post-pandemic? And 92% of those people who responded said yes, with only 8% of you saying no, which I thought was really interesting. The second question was, how do you mainly store your client and supplier information? 4% said spreadsheet documents, 87% said they use the CRM system, which goes back to a previous demonstration from our speakers. 0% said filing cabinet, which is really a relief to hear, and 9% said other. And then finally, we did actually get that little word word cloud of what digital aspects your business would like to improve or develop. And the biggest thing that came back was marketing, which isn't actually a surprise to hear from a project point of view. We get that quite a lot. A couple of others to highlight is security, CRM, and cyber security. So I think today is really, really well positioned for everybody. So to point out how productivity escalator can help you in regards to all of that. First of all, I'm just going to explain a bit about what the project is and how it works. So productivity escalator runs via the University of Bedfordshire. Funded project, which doesn't mean much to you, but to us it means that Brexit will put a stop to all of this as of June 2023. So you guys have until June next year to engage with the University of Bedfordshire and get all of the benefits out of this project and our other funded projects, which my colleagues will speak about as quickly as we can. So the project focuses on using digital aspects to help improve the productivity of your business. It sounds quite niche at first, but actually it's not that kind of specialist once you start to dig into it. In terms of digital, it really is things like marketing, using social media to put your business out there a bit more, using the services and products provided by our lovely guest speakers today to help improve how your business runs and strengthen your security, your cyber vulnerability, to reduce that and to make sure that you are creating the best for your business. We do have criteria, and thankfully I think most of you fit into that really, really nicely. So we work with small to medium-sized enterprises, so no more than 250 employees in a business, and your turnover isn't over 43 million euro. And they did say euro, not pounds, because it goes back to the European funding. You do have to be based in the SEMLEP area, but that reaches quite far. As we're in Milton Keynes today, this actually sits relatively in the heart of SEMLEP. We go up to Corby and down to just past Luton. It kind of has a weird borderline, but if you're kind of unsure as to where you sit within SEMLEP, just come and ask. And I'm now have done this for 5 years, so it's in my brain as to where your postcode sits on a map, so it's fine. So moving on to what the product and the project itself can actually help you with. So there are 2 initial stages to Productivity Escalator. The first one is to work with one of the academics who work at the University of Bedfordshire to give you roughly 15 hours of one-to-one consultancy for your business. So you come in, you think this is the problem you've got, they're going to work with you along with our business partnerships team to go, actually, this is the real problem that you've got. This is what you think it is, but let's work on that a bit more and draw out the actual issues that you're experiencing with your business. That's all for free. And then after that, you can move on to a grant where you put in about You put in your money and you get 30% of that refunded to you. The alternative to the academic consultancy is to have a skilled graduate, which we can help you to recruit if you don't have someone in mind. They just have to have graduated from university, doesn't matter what stage, within the last 5 years. And they can work within your business for up to 10 weeks working on a dedicated project. So as an example, we've got some businesses who've got graduates coming in and they're working on quite niche and specific marketing campaigns. We've got others who are BSI developers. They're working on actually building custom CRM systems. So again, it's not as specialised as you necessarily think it might be on the surface. And that you can also then move over to the grant bit for, which is really nice. Alternatively, if you've got something that is really in depth and you think, I could spend 10k and get 3 of it back, but actually I would like to have someone working in my business for a prolonged period of time, something really particular, then we can do up to 50% of a PhD or a master's by research. And that can either be for someone who is already in your business, if you think they've got the skills and the energy to go through all of that, or we can help and we can recruit someone who's already done an undergraduate degree and is looking to do a master's by research, or again has the capability to go through a full PhD, and we can contribute towards a discount for that. In terms of what the project is for and how it can help you, a few more examples here. So organisations who need to do more online, it's not just about making sure you're posting more on LinkedIn or you're getting the followers on Twitter and Instagram. It's about making sure your website is user friendly and people are getting the information. Your clients, as spoken about previously, are most important about keeping your business going. So we're also looking at businesses who need to increase their broadband capacity. Sounds silly in this day and age, but there are a lot of rural-based businesses who are struggling with their internet capabilities. Established businesses who need some help in terms of staffing and getting digital tools sorted, products and services. There's a whole range of stuff as shown by this graphic. So really, if you've got something in mind, feel free to reach out to myself or any of my colleagues from the University of Bedfordshire, and we are more than happy to help you with the Productivity Escalator programme or one of our other projects which might help you as well. So that's it from me. Thank you.
These slides will be shared, and all the contact details for all the speakers are on there, so you can reach out in your own time. Next is Rachel, our colleague from the university, and she'll talk about the other businesses, business support program.
Thanks. I've just realised quite how corporately dressed I am. I think that was a good thing.
It's a match.
I know, it's literally like Tudors. So I'm Rachel Perry, lovely to meet you. I just thought we haven't all had a chance to meet the whole team, so I'm just going to put you guys on the spot. So Oksana, you've met.
Hi.
But if afterwards you need to ask any questions, these are the people you need to home in on. So Simone, could you just give a wave? Hi. And Chris, my colleague here. And Michelle, sorry, I had a brain freeze. Michelle and Kiara. So there's enough of us. So
There's Nathan around somewhere.
Jason. Oh, sorry, Nathan, I couldn't see you.
Yeah.
And Jason, I apologise. He'll be found by the croissant. But, okay, yeah. So I'm going to kind of repeat some of what Kiara said, but I'll give you some more examples. So my job and our job is a kind of facilitator role. So we listen to what your businesses need, what you think you need, and then we match you up with an academic or a graduate or both at the university. And it's a really great job because we've got a uni-wide approach. So it may be the case that you come to me and say, I need more customers, I need more marketing, I need more leads. Actually, you're trying to sell a product that nobody wants. So we can then signpost you to someone in business school and someone in art and design, and they work together, you know? So it's not just one academic we have access to. First of all, innovation bridges. A lot of our clients come through this project because you get a longer period of consultancy. It's about 20 hours. And that then forms the basis for your next steps. These are kind of entry-level projects. So you come and have a chat, we signpost you to someone. You can work with an academic free of charge. And then after that, you can also apply for a grant. It's been so successful, in fact, that we've run out of capital grants. We now have revenue grants available. So what may happen is that you work with an academic who makes some suggestions, and then we help you apply for the grant to implement those suggestions. So it could be that you go to one of the people in this room that you've remembered and got the slides from, and thought, oh, right, they recommended I did this. Well, I can go to that company and use the grant to employ their services. So that's the reason we're all in the room today, is to kind of network and to kind of plant those seeds of collaboration. So we can help you with a grant for services. The alternative, Chiara's already mentioned the co-funded Masters by Research. So for a lot of companies, that sounds a bit scary. I mean, I don't even know what that is and how it works, but basically we can give you 50% towards someone in your company who'd like to do a Masters, or an aspect of the project that would appeal to someone externally who's already researching and would like some support really to get onto the master's degree. They don't have the funding themselves. So 50% is funded by the company and 50% is funded by the project. We do all the paperwork. It's not as complicated as it sounds, and we help you with the interviewing process and selection process too. They would also be supervised by an academic. So it's not down to you. We put an academic in there as well. Okay, any questions on that part?
Does the person need to have had a basic degree before they?
Yes, so it would be a must. They've already got their bachelor's degree, whatever, BSc, BA, whatever it is. They're moving on to a master's, and it can be people later in life. So you may have someone in your company that's been working with you for 10 years, and they think, actually, that's a really interesting area to research. I'd like to do a master's. I'm working anyway. An example of that, I've got Northampton Saints at the moment, and their physio is doing a master's by research, covered by one of our academics. It's his day job, but he's studying alongside. So that's a typical example. Okay. Just to flag this one, I know we've got a representation of SEMLEP as well. There's a project called Growth Curve, run by our Professor of Practice, David Harding, in collaboration with SEMLEP. This is a course that you can attend. It's free of charge, and it will help your business grow. He's got an amazing, I've attended it, it's got an amazing, I don't know what you call it, but a strategy, I guess, where you focus on the people, which we've heard about how important they are already, and allocating certain people to certain things over a certain time frame. It's a really great structure. It's sort of set within sort of 4 masterclasses, if you like. Highly recommend it. It's free of charge. When we send the slides out, you can sign up and read a little bit more on the website. It's a really great platform to begin with. And again, once you've done Growth Curve, you then narrow down what your focus is, what your next steps are. Come back to us, we'll put you through Innovation Bridges. So this is not one or the other, they all link together. So if you're not sure, as you one of our speakers was saying, if you're not sure what you need, what you want and how to do it, maybe go on Growth Curve, narrow it down. Right, now I know what I need to focus on for the next 6 months. Come back to us, we'll give you an academic, we'll give you the grant. Last of all, my favourite, best kept secret. Has anyone heard of knowledge transfer partnerships? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's amazing. 5 out of 25. That's amazing. Okay. Knowledge transfer partnerships are probably the best kept government secret. Been running for about 40 years. People just don't know about them. The idea is that it's a 3-way partnership. I'm asking what you know already. I don't want to put people on the spot, but does anyone know anything that they can throw into the room already?
With also university, academic, and a business.
Uh-huh.
Don't know what the third bit of the triangle is though.
Okay, let me help. So you're right, university, any university, but we'd like it to be University of Bedfordshire. Any academic, generally 2 academics actually, you have a lead and a support. And the reason for that is, let's say you're developing a robotic hand for 2 years, and then you need to take it to market. You might need someone from marketing as well as technical person. And then the third person in the triangle is someone they call an associate. An associate is a graduate from any UK university in the last 5 years. Okay, so that's your triangle. They're supervised by the academic, but they work for the university in the business. So we employ them for you. Okay. The way it works is that triangle helps embed the knowledge. It's a knowledge exchange partnership. So you may have a gap for your innovation. You're looking to do something, but your current skill set, there's no one in your business that has that. We can help you recruit someone. They're supported by the academics. It's a generally 2-year project, can be 1 to 3 years. 2 years is a kind of golden area. And the idea is that even if they leave at the end of the 2 years, they develop something and embedded that knowledge in the company that will take you forward. Now, ideally, of course, you'd like to keep them on because they're a real asset to the company. Doesn't always happen. That's absolutely fine. You know, it can be just a short term. Cost is something that everyone always wants to know. This is the best bet. The government will fund your size businesses 77%, I think it's come to this year. Yeah, 77%. So you only pay 33% of the cost of the project. That works out to about 35,000-ish per year once you've costed it. It might be a little bit more, a little bit less. For that, you get a full-time employee who is a graduate level and up to master's and PhD level, some of them. You get the 10% of the academic coming away from the university and they work for you, 10% of their time. You get our time, you get any use of the labs or facilities or marketing or anything else you need from the university. So £35,000 to develop an innovation that already, if you could outsource that, it's going to cost you substantially more. The government fund it. The associate also gets training, they get residential training, they get training from the university. So it's a wraparound package. Highly successful, ranging from sports science all the way up to kind of AI, machine learning, all sorts of different things. So it's an amazing project. And that's.
So can that be co-funded from another grant funding source, or does it have to just be?
Yeah, interestingly, I've just launched one which is co-funded with the British Council and the company. And they're going to be working together with an associate who actually is an overseas associate, and they're going through the visa process. It's a very broad collaboration. So the answer is yes, but I need to look into which research. But yeah, there are obviously caveats. But yes, it doesn't have to be sold. Any other questions on KTP, non-distracted partnership, innovation bridges, relatives? Yeah.
Hi. The challenge with KTP is the associate because they typically are less than 5 years of experience and there's only so much that they can contribute to your business, which is why you look at several applications and you really don't choose anyone. What's the scope of getting somebody more than 5 years? Is that even possible?
They tend to not want them to be more than 5 years because it helps to launch the person's career. The idea is that it has that three-way. I mean, they call it the 4 Cs. There are certain things that they want to have out of the project. And one of them is the collaboration part, the cohesiveness, so it brings everyone together, launching someone's career as well. So you're right, they tend to be younger people. But I've got one working at the moment, and I literally have to, when I'm taking it, can you just spell that for me? Because I literally have no clue what he's talking about. He's so intelligent. So it's like any job. You have to find the right person for the right job. And that's part of our role as well. So the academics will screen the people coming through and help you select someone that's appropriate for you. It's a tricky one. Yeah, it is. But hopefully you can have some more information to make the day success. Any other questions? No, that's me done then.
Well, we quickly on to Michelle, who's our research support officer, and she'll just give you a brief overview of how businesses can do research with the University of Bedfordshire, and then we will go through to Rebecca, who will give you examples of that. Michelle, no, I'm giving you the wrong thing.
Which is the, that one? Yeah.
Yeah, I can just closer to the laptop.
Closer, how close this?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi everybody, I'm Michelle Flynn, as you see, the research support officer. How many of you already work with research or have done anything with research previously in the room? And what about University of Bedfordshire? How many of you been to campus or know anything about what we do? A few of you here. So really what I'm going to do is just give you an overview of how I see research can benefit businesses. And you've seen this graphic already, which has been used by Chiara, but I thought it was a really good graphic, so I've used it again. So I think one of the main things we can do is provide expertise within the field. And recently, we've had our research excellent framework exercise where our research is audited and that it's looked at to see, and we're given a certain amount accreditation. So, for example, one of our research institutes was given world leading as part of their, and we've got also outstanding around impact and things around there. And as you can see here, I put here overall 60% of the university's research and 50% of its impact was judged to be world leading or internationally excellent. So I've put that on here because as a business, you might be thinking about there's areas of expertise that you don't have and you would like to find ways of engaging with the university to see how we can work with you. So that could be through areas like consultancy, we could come in and do some evaluation, and those are just a few sort of ideas. Then the facilities, I've got a few of the areas of facilities I wanted to talk about. We've got a STEM lab in our campus in Luton, which has 4 computer labs, and we also deliver workshops, and there are 3 large teaching labs and 4 specialist containment labs. There is also a moot court that we have in Luton, which is used for the law students, and they use that there so that they get real life experience of what it'd be like in a lab. And then in our Bedford campus, we have the sports facilities, and also there are performing arts facilities like dance studios and things. Innovation is something which, again, is on the research side of things. Collaboration, the reason why I put this here, one idea is to look at how you could collaborate on publications and actually have your business as part of a publication and be involved in that way. And then funding opportunities is something which I'm going to talk about on my sort of final slide. So within the University of Bedfordshire, we have 9 research institutes, which are all listed here. I've picked out a few of them, which I think could be of interest to you, which is the business management. And then as part of that, there are 5 research centres, and they focus on things like marketing, leadership, innovation, law, accounting, and finance. And then the Institute of Health is committed to carrying out real research, providing information which can influence policy and practice. So, and okay, so then move on to the next bit here, which is, this is a few funding opportunities that I've put on here, which I thought might be useful to you because these are all digital related and it's all come from in the UK. So when you have a look at the slides, you'll be able to have a look at these. So just a little bit of background. The first one, the Chance Programme, is looking at an opportunity for international research projects on transformations in social and cultural dynamics in digital age. And the research will also seek to understand how these insights can be used to reduce the need for physical protocols, reduce the risk of time market associated with new products. Then there's also one around the hubs, and the hubs should promote knowledge and skills sharing across healthcare, academia and business and drive innovation, digital health. And the final one, which I put about smart grants, is they're focused on scope to support SMEs and partners develop disruptive innovation with significant potential for rapid economic return to the UK. So that's it.
My name is Rebecca Howe. I'm a senior lecturer in cybersecurity. Ironically, I'm not here to talk about cybersecurity. Should have made a change. What I am here to talk to you about is how an academic might help you. I'd like to start off, I've not got very long, but I'd like to start off by basically talking about digital transformations, which are more and more frequently happening in companies. We're saying the future is digital, but digitalization for small processes has been happening for a long time. Using fuzzy logic, machine learning, automated processes on the manufacturing floor has been happening for a very, very long time. More and more businesses are leaning towards digital transformations now, and they've taken big sections of their businesses, big parts of their business processes, and making everything be digitized. Now, the key thing is that everything has to be involved in that process. Most digital transformation projects fail. I'll say that again. Most digital transformation projects fail. There are a number of reasons why they fail, but two of the major ones are, first of all, they underestimate the complexity of the problem. Or they might think that it's an IT and infrastructure issue when actually it's not. So usually the other part of a digital transformation is decide to take most or quite often a process of your business that didn't ordinarily lend itself to being digitized. You need everybody on board. And by everybody, I mean to completely change the business ethos, if you like, about how you're going to look at that. It doesn't work if you don't do that. If you decide you're going to have and this is not an this is an example, a real example. If you decide you're going to have a fantastic robot that meets people as they come in the door, and you invest millions in research and development, but you didn't get the employees on the ground shop floor to understand the process and to appreciate the process, they are going to jeopardize your project, and it just won't work. One of my favourite successes stroke failures, if you like, is Facebook. So Facebook, quite rightly so, with experts in their field, absolutely, decided that when they were going to do a digital transformation and take almost all of their processes to the cloud, to digitization, they thought, perhaps understandably, we can keep that in-house. We're Facebook, we're Meta, we'll use Facebook services, Meta servers, why would we not? Now, I don't know if any of you recall a horrifying half a day, sometime back in October, we all got locked out of WhatsApp and Facebook, because what actually happened was they effectively accidentally deleted themselves from the internet. I won't go too much into technical detail, but there's a little protocol called BGP, where internet routers speak to one another, and a small piece about where the routes are and where the servers are, and somebody injected a small piece of code that effectively told BGP that Facebook and Meta services didn't exist anymore, so they went around updating and effectively deleting Facebook from the internet. It was better than that, because it was all in-house, the computers that I now need to log on to fix the problem that I've done, I can't log on to, because it's not a Facebook server on the internet, doesn't know where the Facebook server is anymore. And it's better than that, because my ID card that I use to get in the door, to get to the computer that I can't log on to, it doesn't work because it doesn't know where Facebook is, right? And you'd love to have been a fly on the wall that they probably took a brick out of to throw through the window to get to the server. So sometimes you need to sort of have maybe an academic, don't silo things, have a think about things. So my next question is, what is an academic good for? Which is a question I might have answered. What we are good for is problem solving. We're not frightened of failure. We like experimentation. We see it as a thing on the road to success, which is quite basic. So give us your problems, let us make the mistakes for you, and sometimes it just helps to have another eye that looks at something and says, you sure? Sure you want all of that in-house? You sure you want to think about that? What happens if? Sometimes also we have experts in really peculiar places, really weird things, niche people. You want the person who wrote the algorithm that did the protocol, that had the encryption, that made the widget, that did the thing, that invented this. We probably have them. Or if we don't have them, we know of them, we can collaborate with them, we can share that expertise. So that sort of thing happens. If I tell you an example project that I was involved in this year, we had a company who did a SaaS application, which was a software as a service application. It assessed the cybersecurity risk of when companies allow individuals in the organisation to use Google sign-in for particular applications within the network. Now, they had a problem, which was that, again, I don't want to go into too much technical detail, but Google OAuth scopes, when they looked at how those scopes had been assessed, it was a very high-low risk rating, and nobody really knew where those risk ratings came from. So they came and said, can you have a look at this? Can you work out, was this risk strategy, is it doing the right job? So I think we looked at about 18,000 applications, about hundreds and hundreds of Google scopes, OAuth scopes, and we sort of looked at it with an InfoSec eye, a cybersecurity data protection sort of standpoint, went through it and thought, we can agree with this one, we don't agree with this one. and came up with a sort of a better risk model that we could come to the company and say, we think it might be better if you approached it like this. Here's a risk, and it sort of depended on what the scope was designed to do. It's all very well that, so a scope, for example, if it opens up if an application asks for access to, let's say, your calendar or Google Docs, it very much not only depends on how risky, which could be inherently really risky, right? It also depends what you're using it for. If your company's not using Google Docs to upload any confidential data or everything's encrypted, then actually that risk is negligible. So we tried to have a think about, you might approach this model more this way. And the business said, great. And then now they can go away and they're going to have a look at it and they're going to perhaps try and integrate some of the best solutions into their application. And out of time, but on the whole, we're good at problem solving. So give us a problem and we'll run with it.
As Kiara and Rachel said, Rebecca is just one of the people that we can put you in touch with. You can have free consultancy with them, have a sort of spend 15 or 20 hours working with them, and then work with them long term if you need to through research, or you can take the grant and maybe hire an external consultant as well. So there's lots of different options. What I also wanted to mention is that Rebecca's faculty, so the School of Science and Technology, also run apprenticeships for the university. So there's 3 different apprenticeships. There's a banner at the back. I can't read that, so I'm going to ask you to go and have a look at it later. But there is obviously cybersecurity apprenticeship, data analyst, and there is one more, and I can't read that. So if you have any technical questions about apprenticeships, and bringing an apprentice in could be just what your business needs. Obviously there is levies, etc., to help you pay for that apprentice. Then if you have, like I said, technical questions to Rebecca, please. Hope you don't mind. Sorry, drop you in it. Any kind of general questions about short courses, apprenticeships, etc., please find Jason, who's sitting at the back, or by the pastries. And he will be able to give you a kind of a general overview of other courses that are available. So whether it's you wanted to put yourself through a course or one of your staff members, or as I said, hire an apprentice, which could be someone in your business already. And it doesn't have to be a young person, it could be a mature apprentice. So I'll stop talking. The next person is Billy.
We move on. I should say that I'm just finishing the work with an academic produced a paper yesterday. I was meeting about it to close the thing off tomorrow. Somebody in the room maybe. But I would recommend to anybody that hasn't yet used it, it is that thing of them looking at the problem that you think you have and then continue the back to a problem is something different, and then go the other road of producing something that hopefully will be helpful for us in the next couple of years.
Yeah, perfect. And obviously apprenticeships give you a chance to upskill your staff. So, we have a lot of time where businesses turn to us and go, oh, we need skilled staff and we can't find them. Well, actually you have people in your business that you can just upskill, and that shows them that, you're investing in them and they will, work harder and be more productive and actually be able to address issues that obviously the new issues that you may have identified. So yeah, I'm win-win as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, Freddie.
Hello, everybody. I'm Freddie Nonyanu, founder and tech lead at Bright Yellow. We enable smart places, smart stations. Provide a data capture platform of mixed reality applications. Think of virtual and augmented reality applications. And ultra-precise sensors for remote care monitoring for vulnerable people, for example. And high precision sensors allow us to understand movement inside buildings. So counting, tracking, analytics. My background over the last 2 years, I've led the team at Bright Yellow through a number of collaborative innovations, if you like, into high-performance cloud computing, remote care monitoring, and most recently, connected passenger guidance. And that experience has really enabled us to build a foundation for the business that we have today. What is our data capture platform? I've just talked about it. Have I gone too far? There we are. Okay. It's the applications for guidance, so virtual and augmented reality, within places like stations. It's the wearables, smart wearables for the vulnerable elderly person, so we can guide them end to end through complex multimodal journeys so that they're safe. And the ultra precise sensors, so that the operators have really accurate information of the movement of people within the zones and the stations. So where the pinch points are, where overcrowding is happening, and to be able to route and guide passengers, especially the vulnerable, and safely end to end. Our mission is to provide the most powerful insights for the operators within stations to help them to transform their operational efficiency and also to improve passenger experience. And we think about passenger experience for all, including the disabled. How did we get to here? Our pivot point, if you like, in the business came about in 2017 when we exited our old business, our Wi-Fi business. And we set off on a journey to create a new world where passengers and operators have greater insight and can make better decisions inside buildings like station, places and large complex buildings. We attended a number of accelerators to kick off that journey, brilliant journey, intelligent mobility here in Milton Keynes, we play places like Airport, and our transport. And it was actually in Wales that the magic moment happened for us, because we discovered that 6.2% of people don't use rail. They don't use stations. That's 4 million people. Even worse, 10 million disabled passengers. But it's a nightmare for them. Stations, because they don't decide, they're not sure they can actually get out of the station, so that they get stuck. So they decide not to use it. We found a case study, a family of 4. Grandmother, 71-year-old, has arthritis in both knees, single mom, 2 small children, want to go on a simple journey from to Shrewsbury via Cardiff. I said, I'm not coming because she thinks I'm going to stay at Cardiff. No. The mum, alone with 2 kids and the luggage, stairs? No. They drive. Loss of revenue for the operator. Terrible for the environment. But we set out to solve this problem, and that's why we've built the business that we've built today, about providing this most powerful insights hub for the passenger and the operator to plan the journey, to have the right resources and support to be able to make that end-to-end journey safer. So, we've talked about the problem and we've talked about our solution, and I want to talk a little bit about how we've worked with the productivity escalator. Essentially, we've used the grant to recruit. We've recruited a PhD. We're sponsoring one of the PhDs that we talked about earlier on. We've done the masters, sub-consultants. So we've hired a master's MBA graduate actually from London Business School, who worked with us for 6 months, facilitated by the Escalator. But we've also used the grant to do the fundamental research that allowed us to bring our ecosystem, our product platform together. So the Escalator has been wonderful for us. We reach very much into our local university, so we don't only work with the University of Bedfordshire, Cranfield University and passing 5 cases from the Open University. We're a business that's heavily invested in the formation of local academic institutions. And it's our vision to move forward. We're really increasing the engagement, the number of people we're recruiting, the pace we're recruiting, both at Cranfield and the Open, in terms of the future. So, moving forward, currently our product is now into commercialization. We're working with Transport for Wales. We're looking to extend our work with the West Midlands Trains and Transport for West Midlands. It's a growing opportunity for us. Here, other industries are coming to us. We've doubled the size of our team. I should mention, we've achieved ISO 27001. We've achieved Cyber Essentials, and we're very much invested in delivering a robust business moving forward, and all in part thanks to the journey that we started by reaching out to the University of Bedfordshire and getting started with this. Thank you.
So Freddie's just one of the businesses that we've supported, and it's a long collaboration that we've supported him, not just through Productivity Escalator, but also through a number of different projects. As Kiara said, it's a journey, and I think as Rachel, in fact, that these projects are all connected. You can do more than one at a time as well. So if there's two different challenges you have, you can reach out and speak to us, and we can kind of explain how we can support you through that. So yeah, I mean, the main takeaway is come and speak to us. I'm sure there's something we can do for you. So I think we're kind of on the wrap up now. Amanda, yours is next. So Amanda is from Milton Keynes Council. There you go. Thank you very much. You match your slides.
Yes, yes. I'm corporately dressed as well. You know, just another council. No, I'm joking. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amanda Green. I am meeting with investment manager for the economic development at Milton Keynes Council. Firstly, just want to say, really, we should, following our fantastic news that we are a city, we need to replace place with city because we have now become a city. So we're really, really excited about that, and that's a great bit of news for me. So watch this space for celebration and benefits in the works. So just to give you a bit of an overview of the economic. So these are just some of our sort of aspirations, but just to break it down, you know, what does the economic do? So there are kind of 3 sort of key elements. So the first one is business engagement. We're home to about just over 12,000 businesses in Milton Keynes. So being able to understand what they're thinking and feeling, what are their challenges, what are their opportunities. That's really, really important for us in terms of how we then move forward with our sort of long-term planning, decision making, the growth of the city. The second element of economic development is economic development itself, and that's a sort of project. You know, what is the basis of that constantly performing? And the third element is investment, which is what I do, which is to promote Milton Keynes as a business location and support businesses who are looking to land in Milton Keynes. We want our economy to be strong, we want it to continue to grow, we want to attract the best businesses to come to Milton Keynes so that our residents have the best job opportunities. So that's just a very, very quick overview of what we do in the economic development team. Okay, so some data. I love data, and I love Milton Keynes data, and I love talking about Milton Keynes data. So, so I think for me, I love this fact is the best one ever, because everybody thinks that Milton Keynes is full of big brands, and we are, and that's great. But when you look at this, 99.5% of our business community are SMEs. You know, our business community is you guys, SMEs. So that's why it's really, really important to understand what your needs are moving forward. We want you to grow, we want you to innovate, we want you to continue to make a great place for business. So that is just, and then also this is really, really important as well, just kind of nationally, you know, just looking at our jobs, you know, when we talk about sort of Milton Keynes, a vibrant city, wanting to become more digitally and tech focused, got the jobs already compared nationally. We've got a high proportion of those knowledge intensive business jobs So again, that is really, really important for us as a key selling point when we're trying to attract more business to Milton because we do have the workforce. Okay, and then just to finish off, this is just a real basic snapshot of some of the groups and business support partners that we work alongside with and support. It's this is not a complete list, this is just a snapshot. As an SME, I think it's really, really important for you to know that there is a community out there for you, that there are peers for you to engage with and to have those kind of key conversations with. And this is just, as I said, an overview of some of the support that the council is partners with these people. So there's plenty of business support groups, there's plenty of networks, and there are programs of business support being run by our universities as well. So again, that's just a very, very quick overview on to do business.
So just to kind of add, Amanda and Milton Keynes Council are just one of the local authority partners that University of Bedfordshire are working with. We've done various projects with Central Bedfordshire Council, Bedford Borough Council, Luton Borough, etc., etc., etc. As I said, we kind of work with SEMLEP, etc. So depending on what your needs are, again, we can put you in touch with one of our partners. If their support is something a little bit more niche for you, perfect, that's fine. We all work together. It's all about collaboration. We will either work together to help you, or we will pass you on to the right person, whether it's internally or externally. Kiara?
So you've got me again, third time today. This one is going to be nice and sweet. Thank you. So this is really just to tie up what we've been talking about today, and it's mainly about the grant application form for Productivity Escalator, but it's pretty much the same on Innovation Bridges and a lot of the other ERDF funded projects. It's the same content, just in a different format. This looks really overwhelming at first glance, but actually it's only the areas that we've highlighted in yellow that are really, really crucial and that we ask you guys to fill in. The rest of it we pre-populate. So for those of you who haven't filled in a grant application with us before, this is just to kind of go through the brief steps of what it is, so that if you do choose to go down the grant route, you have a better idea of what you're going to be coming up against, what information needs to go in it, and how quick and easy we can make it. So it's actually about 2.5 pages long, depending on how much information you decide to put in there. Really basic information that we can pre-populate from our CRM server. The university uses Salesforce, to go back to a previous presentation. So the main information that we would ask you to put in is, what do you want a grant for? And it's just explaining that background information. What do you want it for? Why is it going to help your business? And how much is it actually going to be? Who's going to be the person that you're going to purchase a goods or service from? You do need alternative quotes, you need 1 or 2, and if you absolutely can't find it, we do have an alternative solution for that, which again is a really nice and easy form. I've got one client that I'm currently working with who's filled in that form 3 different times because he's changed his mind, but he does it in about 5 minutes and he really doesn't care. So it's nice and easy. And then we've got some questions along here. So how will the grant help your business? Why do you need this investment to help your company grow? And that literally could be as simple as, without it, our company won't grow. We've had some that literally are just that centered, so it is that straightforward. And just as an aside, with all of the grant applications, I, as project manager for Productivity Escalator, review these before I even send them to our panel for review. And if I think there's work that could be done on it, I do go through and add little comments and just go, perhaps you should consider writing this in there, so you can just copy and paste it and put it in, and then we send it to the panel. Improves your chances of getting accepted. Then there's this sort of stuff, which is mostly for us internally, so you don't need to worry about that box. And the referees, nice and easy. So it's just people who can verify and vouch for your business. And this is the final page. So state aid, again, that runs from us. You don't need to know the answer to all of it, but it is good to know where you should find that information. So if you've worked with other consultancies, you've had what is called state aid, you should actually have that information, or some in your business should have that on file. So even if you're not going to run with a grant from us, you should have a think about where that information is and putting it somewhere that you can easily refer back to for the future in case you do go for a grant somewhere else, because that does come up quite a bit. And then finally, it's pretty much just signing off your name and a checklist, which actually we fill in on our side as well, about whether you've given us your quotes, your business accounts, which we can pull off Companies House as long as you've been running for 3 years. If you haven't, then it's a cash flow and business plan, which again, you should have. And if you don't, you can speak to our business partnership team and they can help put you in touch with someone to develop that. Although to be fair, if you've gotten that far, you should have it. And then the rest of it are just tick boxes. It's that nice and easy. So difference between capital and revenue, again, will be explained before you get that far, but just as a brief overview, capital, something physical that's in front of you. So it can be computers, machinery, that sort of thing. And revenue is something as easy as consultancy or marketing. And it could be web development as well. We see a lot of that come through. And then this is just a larger version of what was put on that first slide. So that is the grant application form. If you'd like some more detail on that, again, find myself or one of my other colleagues. We can help run through, and I've got something from Rachel who's going to point something out for me.
I was just
Oh,
going
yeah.
to add to that, because if you do have academic consultancy or you go on the growth curve course, that can form part of your business case. So as a result of attending growth curve with Professor David Harding, he recommended that we purchase X service done.
Absolutely.
That will have more weighting with the panel. So all of these things work as a collaborative way of getting you to. So just wanted to add in that, you know, it's not a standalone thing, that you can use the other services to boost your application.
Absolutely, thank you. Well, thank you very much for attending, everyone. It's been really appreciated, and hopefully it's been beneficial to you all. I'm going to hand over to Oksana, and that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you. So we hope you enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a whirlwind event. We decided, as I said, to kind of give you a little bit of a taster of everything. So if you have any questions for any of the speakers or the University of Bedfordshire staff, then please do get in touch. As I said, I will be sharing the slides after the event in the next couple of days. We will also send out a feedback form. If you could just let us know how well we've done, etc., just so we can improve for next time. There were also one-to-ones offered with our business advisors. I believe we have 3, one for Rachel, Chris and Nathan immediately after this event. There are obviously other options either today or on a different day. So if you do want to have a chat with us, then do get in touch again. Otherwise,